Pandemonium. A report on the red panda, Alois fulgens. This is being brought to you by TJ Covington. Let's get started. The red panda is a small mammal that has the size of a large domestic cat, the body of a bear, and the facial features of a raccoon. Native to areas in and surrounding the Himalayas, the red panda is now considered endangered. While most people believe the red panda, also called the lesser panda, was named after the giant panda, the red panda was actually named 48 years earlier by French zoologist Frédéric Cuvier in 1825. He just so happens to be the younger brother of Georges Cuvier, otherwise known as the father of paleontology. See the distinction? I bet you do. Alois comes from the Greek word alorios, meaning cat. Fulgens is Latin for fire color or shining. The word panda itself means bamboo-footed in Nepalese, and the Chinese called red pandas hanho, which is translated as firefox, not like the browser. The red panda tends to have a complicated family history. The red panda and the giant panda diverged approximately 43 million years ago. Both fall under the order Carnivora. There is convergent evolution because both eat mainly bamboo and have adaptive pseudo-thumbs. We'll talk about that more later. At various points, the red panda was part of the same family as bears, and then later it moved into the family of raccoons because it shares more characteristics such as behavior and anatomy. However, now it has its own family, Aluridae, with no member other than itself. It is still included under the superfamily with weasels, badgers, otters, and raccoons. Fossils of the red panda's ancestor have been found across Eurasia, and in 1977, a tooth was discovered in the state of Washington. This suggests that the species immigrated to North America from Asia. There are currently two subspecies of red pandas, Alois fulgens and Alois fulgens stiani, or refulgens. The latter was discovered in 1897 by W.F. Stiani. Stiani has a longer winter coat and a greater blackness of the pelage, bigger skull, more strongly curved forehead, and more robust teeth. And it also has a brighter color fur and a bigger body, so that's probably an easier way to remember them. In one study, 41 red panda hair and skin samples from 11 different areas, and these areas listed here, were tested by using coding sequencing programs. Results showed that 3 out of 25 haplotypes, or polymorphisms, found were similar, suggesting high genetic diversity. However, the red panda's phylogeographic structure was described as shallow, indicating that not too long ago the species experienced population expansion. This is similar to the North America's gray wolf. Because of habitat fragmentation and destruction, the population of red pandas has decreased, and they have gone extinct in regions other than Sichuan, Yunnan, and Tibet. However, significant population differentiations or limited gene flow between populations hints that the populations were isolated by factors such as dispersion by physical barriers and the ability to mate with females. That's rather unfortunate. Both species of red panda live in the temperate mountain forests from the foothills of western Nepal to eastern China and are known for inhabiting the Himalayas. Usually, A. fulgens can be found in Nepal, Bhutan, northeastern India, and China, while A. stiani is only found in China and northern Burma. These elevations range from 5,000 to 15,000 feet above sea level, and the optimal temperature range for red pandas is between 17 and 25 degrees Celsius. In order to better understand the physiology, one experiment measured the resting metabolic rate of 17 red pandas, 10 during the summer, and the rest during the winter. Differences in gender and mass did not affect the RMR. This was consistent with many other mammals in which males and females both have similar RMRs. However, there was a statistically significant effect of season and temperature on the resting metabolic rate. The data shows that the RMR was much higher in the winter temperatures between 5.3 Celsius and 7.6 Celsius than they were in the summer temperatures between 15.5 Celsius and 20.2 Celsius. Mammals all have thermoneutral zones, and if temperatures are lower or higher than optimal range, then the metabolic rate increases to warm up or cool down the animal. Animals similar in size tend to have similar resting metabolic rates. The rat panda's metabolic rate was higher than the chimpanzee, but lower than the raccoon. So it's difficult to attribute resting metabolic rate solely to one or two environmental factors. Rat pandas are arboreal, which means most of their time is spent in trees. Their bushy ringed tails provide balance and a blanket to sleep on, and when it gets extremely cold, they go into torpor, wrapping their tails around themselves and falling into a deep hibernation-like slumber. This is how they decrease their metabolic demands and lower their body temperature and respiration rate, as was mentioned before. Their red fur helps them blend into their habitat of moss and lichen-covered trees, while the black fur on their stomachs makes them difficult to spot from below. As was mentioned before, they also have an extra thumb like pandas, which enables them to grip bamboo stems and tree branches for easy climbing. Fur covers the soles of their feet and keeps them warm in cold winter, also helping them grip onto slippery branches. Their claws assist them in ascending and descending trees. They descend headfirst, gripping the trunk with the hind claws. They, just like squirrels, are one of the few species in the world that can do this. Red pandas are also crepuscular, which means they are active in the early morning and late afternoon. They spend at least 55% of their days sleeping and conserving their energy. The reddish tear tracks that run from their eyes to their mouths likely help combat the brightness of the sun from the high elevation they live at, and they like to sunbathe quite a bit. Red pandas usually start their day by licking their front paws and cleansing the rest of their bodies and face while sitting up cat-like in a tray. Like raccoons, they dip their paws in water to drink, and as the sun sets, they run swiftly through the trees and forests to find food. Although it is considered a carnivore like the giant panda, both are specialized herbivores with almost exclusive bamboo diet, 90% actually, although they still retain a typical carnivore digestive tract. This infers that they have adapted from their meat-eating ancestors. In fact, 95% of a red panda's low-calorie diet is bamboo, and they eat up to 20,000 leaves every day. The remaining 5% of their diet includes eggs, berries, and insects. Bamboo contains most of the essential amino acids, fatty acids, and vitamins that both species require to grow, develop, and reproduce. Red pandas can only digest about a quarter of the bamboo they eat because it's difficult for their bodies to process the cellulose and cell wall components. They typically consume the high-quality areas such as the leaves and shoots. They also develop very strong molars to effectively chew the bamboo. Although red pandas live in bamboo forests with over 40 species of bamboo, they usually choose and eat the most nutritious species. Such a specialized diet is uncommon among mammals. Because bamboo grows quickly and abundantly on mountainsides, they don't have to worry about competition. Red pandas are generally very elusive and shy creatures, but they are very active between December and February, which is mating season. Males patrol the territory and mark trees with urine and a musky secretion from their anal glands. They use a special organ to let the female know it's ready to mate. Red pandas are able to reproduce when they are 18 months old and are fully mature between 2 and 3 years of age. After 3 to 5 months of being carried in the mother's womb, the cubs are born in a nest made of twigs and leaves. This is normally located in a hollow tree or a rock crevice. Red pandas can birth up to 3 or 4 cubs at once, but they usually birth 2, and this often occurs in June or July. Cubs are born with thick gray fur and are deaf and blind until they are 2 or 3 weeks old. The mother protects them very closely and nourishes them. She transports them by mouth when they need to relocate. If the cubs ever get lost, the white markings on their face are almost luminescent and can guide them in the darkness. After 3 months, the cubs' fur coats are fully red and their mother takes them out to the bamboo forest for the first time. Around this time, they can eat solid foods as well. The cubs remain with their mom until she is ready to breed again next summer, and then they go off on their own. By this time, the red pandas are mature adults with tails 15 to 20 inches long, and they are 20 to 26 inches long from their head to their bodies. Red pandas tend to communicate with body language. For example, they bob their heads and arch their tails. They also have a variety of calls, from an excited huff quack to a warning whistle to twitters and bleats that serve as meeting calls. Predators of the red panda include leopards, golden eagles, and martens, carnivores that are generally quick and quiet. When threatened, red pandas either climb up a tree or rock and will stand on their hind legs and strike out with their claws. As a last resort, they will release the strong odor from their anal glands to deter predators. Unfortunately, red pandas are endangered. There are as many as 10,000 left, and as few as 2,500 left in the wild. There has been a 50% population decrease in the past 2 decades due to habitat loss and fragmentation, illegal trade, and the exploitation of forest resources, along with disease and climate change. Massive habitat loss from activities such as logging, deforestation, farming, cattle grazing, and road construction are the greatest reasons for their endangered status. Efforts are being made in Asia to discourage poaching by installing trail cameras and enacting legislations that make it illegal to harm them, and ecotourists are raising awareness to preserve the red panda. Thanks for listening. Signing off.